3 of them additional people that were allowed to do concrete work in the city. The last time I checked, I don't think they got any work. And I checked with the former UW director. I'm just wondering, are those 3 companies still available to be used? And I don't understand, did we ever use them or why we didn't use them? And I understand that you haven't been here. So that was my question. Are they still available? Were they still fell under the program that they were allowed to be the other 3 companies that would get concrete work?
Sure. Typically, whenever we have, 1, 2, and 3 contractors, we will look to a default as the primary based on low bid. And depending on scheduling, if they are able to complete X amount of work, or if they're not able to, then we'll go to that second low bidder, third low bidder scenario to be able to handle the workload if one vendor is not able to perform. The exact names of those contractors, I'd have to look into that. I don't know offhand. But it is common to have, depending on the type of scenario, especially when you get into the emergency work, throughout the course of the year, if one contractor is not able to mobilize for the emergency situations, then you'll go to your next low bidder and so on. But that is definitely something that we can look into just to see who has bid on the work in the past, and should there be an opportunity where the low bidder is not available to perform X work, then we most certainly would look at the next low bidder and select that contractor to go forward.
Mr. Chairman, just to answer that a little more definitively for Councilman Ramick, I believe that was a couple of years ago. Last year, the low bidder was Hard Rock Concrete, and there was not a secondary contract approved with them, so it would have been the previous year. There were 2 people, not 3. And I do believe we did reach out to the second vendor on multiple occasions, but their interpretation was it was an all or nothing, so they actually declined to come in to do any of the work. And that was probably right around the transition time where everybody started getting really busy. Last year, we had a really, really hard time getting the approved vendor out, and so as a result, we did not get a lot of concrete work done throughout the city.
So the fact that they're going to be subcontracting, I don't know, do we have a do not use list? And if they were going to subcontract somebody, do they reach out to you, or who do they reach out to and say, hey, we're going to use this company for this job?
Mr. Chairman, I don't know the details of, I hadn't heard the subcontracting part until now. One of the owners of Al's will be here tomorrow night, and he can probably answer that question specifically. My understanding is they actually either bought ownership in this company or bought the company. It's one of the two. I don't think it's just a matter of we're just subcontracting it out. Do we know the name of that? You know the name of the company, right?
It's in the
Jostle Brothers,
agenda, yeah.
So they're a local company. I believe they're out of Brownstown or somewhere downriver. I don't know the specific.
They'll fall under an Al's umbrella.
Our contract will be with them. They will actually put, their trucks won't say Jostle Brothers. They will actually have all the decals that say Al's Asphalt. So as far as it goes, I believe they actually own part or all of the company. I don't believe, I could be wrong, so I guess I'll let Al's answer that. But we will deal with Al's, and assuming that it does become problematic in any way, shape, or form, we will continue the relationship with them and how we move forward. Just a point of, I kind of touched on it. Chris's initial analysis of concrete in the Taylor Parks neighborhood was a little more than $2 million just to do that neighborhood, and that is panel replacement. So we are going to have to cut that back. So the first 2 areas of focus will be the Taylor Parks neighborhood, and then it'll be up in the southwest corner, like Kirsten, Wendy. They're really, really bad. We've delayed as long as we can. Kirsten may, in fact, I don't know how bad it is. I haven't had a chance to talk to Craig and Chris since our last meeting on it. It may be a complete tear out, and we may have to look at that totally different some other way. But I know there's a lot of work in those 2 areas, and then we will begin to navigate kind of from west to east from like the neighborhoods between Ecorse and Wick, starting at Beach Daily, moving towards Pelham, if that makes sense. So, and that's mostly all those neighborhoods are all concrete, so that's kind of where the focus will be after we get through they know the numbers, I don't know the numbers, so I'm just kind of giving you the geographical boundaries.
Mr. Chairman, so I think you answered one of my questions, that the documents that we have show that L's Asphalt is the current vendor. That's not really true. They had the blacktop or the asphalt contract last year, but Hard Rock had the last concrete contract before it expired, correct? So this is really a new contract to a new vendor for concrete.
I believe you are correct, Councilman.
Okay. Typically, we'd have the contract, right? We'd be approving a contract, not just who the vendor is. Are we gonna get a contract to vote on tomorrow, or are we just authorizing 1.8 million? You know, I'm thinking of the other vendor contracts where we've actually seen the terms and conditions and voted on a contract.
I'm not sure what was presented at the last meeting, if there was because I believe the asphalt and the concrete were both brought at the previous meeting.
The contracts or just the concepts? I don't think we got any contracts, did we?
That was the whole.
Right?
So we'll look at that. I'm not sure exactly what was, I wasn't at the last meeting, unfortunately, so,
Like right now, we've got, the pricing
Like the
and
bid
whatnot, the bid sheet. But in terms of, you know, what we've contractually agreed to with L's, I don't think we've seen any version of a vendor contract for asphalt or concrete.
I will double check to make sure. I thought that the information, because I remember it was pretty thick.
I could be
I
wrong.
thought that was all of the bid information from the last meeting, but if not, I can definitely get that provided to
I
you.
think we got the bid information, but I'm assuming that we would see the contract that is about to be negotiated with the approved vendor.
Okay, I'll double check, and whatever we have, I'll make sure that you get.